who I am is like irrelevant, man. I just want to see.
It is relevant. You're coming to a county building and asking me to look at stuff and take pictures.
You don't know where I live.
That's a good point.
You know my name?
You got your number, man.
That somebody in 2016 can be as ignorant as you. I sign in to go to the dentist.
Don't you think it's ignorant that you told me I couldn't film you before, and now you found out I can?
I was ignorant. I was uninformed.
So, Mr. Koenig, how you doing today?
Okay. What's going on?
Well, you know, as you know, we were waiting for you. You know, we got here a little early. Did you want me to tell you about the incident that just occurred out there?
I just found out.
Okay.
I will talk to the person who felt he needed to call the police. That was our city attorney. So I'll ask him why.
Now, let me ask you a question there. Now, he's an attorney. I'm assuming you mean like obviously a legal attorney, one that practices law?
Yes, a city attorney.
I mean, he should know that there's no expectation of...
I don't know what he thought. I'll ask him.
I'm saying he should understand that, of all people.
I'll ask him. But that's not why you're here to talk about. What do you...
That's not, but I mean, it's just... I feel another negative reflection on the people just don't seem to know what they're doing, man. You know.
So what are you here to talk about today?
Well, as you know, or maybe didn't know, Mr. Lewis was doing a fundraiser at Beef O'Brady's for his legal defense.
Okay, now we stay out of all that stuff.
Mm-hmm.
It's totally unrelated to the city. What people do for him on the side, that's their business. Are you sure he was the one who organized it?
Well, if not him organizing it, he at least willfully participated in it.
Maybe he was invited.
I believe it was a benefit thrown for Chief Lewis to pay for his attorney and legal fees.
Maybe he was invited.
Well, still, the issue that I have is I believe it's an ethics issue.
Okay.
Because, you know, obviously being in a position of authority as he was and maybe in the future, depending, you know, his leave and all that, to be accepting money from members of the public for a legal defense, don't you think that could, you know, bring about issues with bias and things like that with people?
Okay, how so? I mean, again, that's totally on his own. What people are doing for him on his own, that's their business. Let's say we have an employee who needs an operation, and our health insurance doesn't cover it all. So the community raises money to help pay for that operation. Should that person not accept it? Are they then going to pay favorites?
Well, on the same side of that, you know,
They play favorites?
The person would not be in a position to...
How do you know?
Well, that could be ambiguous, or it could be assumed, but as police chief, it's not ambiguous. He is in a position to be influenced.
Okay.
What we're saying here is, you know, let's say he's on patrol one night, pulls someone over, possible DUI, and realizes that person is someone that contributed a couple $1,000s to his defense for, you know, that's going to put him in a position of, does he enforce the law? Or does he repay this favor that was given to him earlier? You don't see the point I'm making?
I know exactly the point you're making. Yeah. And if he did something like that, then that would be an ethical thing that he's going to have to deal with. I don't picture him as that type. I know that he's not that type. I understand what you're saying. But there are ethics in the profession, and he would have to abide by them.
I mean, now you say you don't picture him as that type. I mean, not to try and be funny here, but did you picture this whole situation he's involved in now?
Okay, that's totally two different things. You're talking about what went on in the citizens demonstration event, and him as an individual, him as a person.
Yes.
Talking two different things. I know what he's like as a person, and his ethics are he's got strong ethics, and strong ethics in the police profession. Now, are you saying that it's possible something could happen? It could happen to anybody. Yeah, I mean, but I don't see it.
Well, but what we're saying is he's putting himself in a position for something like that to occur, you know.
But the fact that people are raising money for his defense, whoever it might be. And again, this is not part of the city.
Okay.
You understand that. Separate and apart. We are not a part of it. That's all.
I mean, but you should be interested in his personal ethics as a police officer and things that question
Yes, I
that.
am.
And, you know, another thing is, you know, like I said, you know, I'm a big believer in practicing like what you preach. Now, if he can't afford an attorney, which is what he's saying by asking for donations for his defense.
Is he asking for it, or is the community asking for it? You see, now be careful what you're saying. Do you have a fact that he's out there soliciting money?
Complicit. He's aware.
He's at least complicit.
Complicit. That right there is enough.
Yeah, he knows people are raising money for him.
Okay. Well, it's an ethical violation for financial gain.
Well,
I mean, but isn't the
I
standard...
just gave you that other example of another employee. Are you saying that people, you don't see all the events that occur around town for people raising money for employees?
We're talking law enforcement, sir. There's a specific code for law enforcement.
You're talking about someone that's put like in a position of power that can, you know, that's not asking for a heart bypass surgery here. You know, we're asking for a legal defense in court. You know, give me money for that. You know, it's not beyond me to believe that there could, you know, arise a situation where someone...
Well, then he's going to have to, obviously he'll have to answer for it if somebody raises it. That's his thing to answer.
Yeah, but he shouldn't be putting himself in situations that could occur.
Again, then he's going to have to address that on his own.
And
what's going on, it's totally outside the city organization.
Okay. Well, you know, another ethics thing I had is, you know, like I said, you know, I believe that the standard is if you cannot afford an attorney, one will be provided to you. So, I mean, I'm sure he's made countless arrests over his career, you know. I think that's a reasonable assumption.
That's a reasonable assumption. He's been a patrol officer on up. I would hope that he's made, he's made arrests.
I would imagine, you know, a great deal of those people probably couldn't afford the price of an attorney, so they would have used the services of the public defender.
Okay. I don't know, but okay.
I mean, I think it's kind of an unfair standard that, you know, when he's in a position where he's in trouble and doesn't have money, he doesn't want to use the public defender. He'd rather, you know, try and solicit funds from the public.
Again, you need to discuss that with him. What is going on out there is by community people not involved at all in the city organization. We are not... we don't go to those events. We don't sponsor those events. Whatever that is. I don't even know when they are. Yeah, but these are ethical questions that are being raised by his integrity. I mean, that's definitely something that should be considered if he's going to be reemployed as chief. And duly noted. And, you know, another question I had is, you know, I understand from a public records a request that was made that his salary is $93,000 a year. Could be, yeah, could be. I mean, now that's just my opinion. Someone that's making almost a six-figure income shouldn't need donations to hire personal counsel.
I don't know his finances. Now you're getting into some personal matters.
This is just how, you know, actually some of these things I didn't even think of myself, they were brought to me. You know, I think, you know, I have a YouTube channel, you know, and, you know, there was the incident of Beef O'Brady's. I don't know if you're aware. I went down there. These were questions that were given to me by people that wanted me to come here and ask them to you. So,
what's this live on YouTube? What are you talking about?
I have a YouTube channel, sir.
Okay. I've never watched it.
Well, I'll be glad to give you the link.
You have an actual channel?
Yes, sir, I do. Over 1,000 subscribers, yes, sir.
Oh. So I just type in YouTube?
So They Call It Freedom, all one word, capital letters. So They Call It Freedom. There was an incident involving Chief Lewis at the Beef O'Brady's fundraiser where I went there and tried to question him about these events, and, you know, I ended up being kicked out of there.
Okay. What's it called? So
They Call It Freedom.
One word?
All one word, capital letters.
So, does it have to be capital?
Yep, all one word, capital letters.
So They Call It Freedom.
All one word, all caps.
And it's YouTube?
Yes, sir.
Alright.
And, you know, like I said, I don't mean to take up any more of your time, but, you know, I just had one more ethical question. Now, we were reading in the paper the other day that it's been decided by the Police Association, I'm not sure what their chief of police association or whatever they are. They're gonna
Florida Police Chiefs Association.
Yes, that they're going to be paying his legal fees in full.
They have a benevolent organization to walk in, pay the fee.
Yeah, but did it say they're paying his?
Yes, sir.
Yes, they're
In
going to
full.
be picking up his
Entire
They're
term.
gonna, or are they raising?
the
it?
benevolent
No,
organization
they're
that
paying it.
bringing in.
There's a difference between raising money and picking it up.
No, they're going to write a check to an attorney for him. That's what's going to happen.
Is that what they said?
Yes,
And where
sir.
was that?
Believe that was in the Sun, and then it was on a local radio. They announced that too.
Oh, okay.
I'm sure you can look that up. It's
Yeah, I can look it up.
it's been
Florida
publicized.
Police Chiefs Association. Yeah, they have a website.
Or Police Benevolent Association. It's one of those. I'm sure you can make a simple phone call to Lewis. He'd tell you all about it. But what I'm saying is now he's already gone out and collected all this money to hire an attorney, but he's getting one already paid for him.
Are you sure about that?
I wouldn't be in here telling it to you,
There's a
man.
GoFundMe account online. It's public record.
Yeah.
It shows who's donated, how much, and everything.
So they're raising money. They actually don't have the money yet.
There was a
GoFundMe is actual money.
Yeah, but they
Right.
don't have. What you're saying is the way you just explained it to me is that they have the money and they're going to pay it.
They're paying his attorney fees. That police
So
So they have the
association.
money on hand.
Yes.
And this was last week already. I mean, he's probably already had someone hired already. I mean, they've already paid it. But now he's already gone out there and collected money for another attorney. You know what I'm trying to. That seems to me not to be ethical.
Florida Police Chiefs Association. You're saying I type in Florida Police Chiefs Association.
Or Benevolent Association. It's one of those organizations. It's the same people that's paying for Cole's legal defense and all that.
They're paying for Coles too?
Yes, sir. He's getting a lawyer and all that stuff. Yep.
Oh, he's got a lawyer. Of course, he's got a lawyer. We've known that from the beginning.
No, they got rid of that other one because his attorney fees were too high, so they hired him a different one. They got rid of Jerry Berry and now it's someone else.
Yeah, Jim Brantley.
Yeah, well, he's paid for by the Benevolent.
Police Benevolent Association.
They wrote
Yeah.
a check to pay him. That's correct.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, he's entitled. He's entitled to have an attorney. I don't see anything here about. Do you see anything in here about what you're talking about?
I mean, I doubt they'd have it on their webpage. We're paying Chief Lewis's legal fees. I mean,
I don't see anything here. But, okay.
I mean, I'm sure when I leave here you can verify it, man. I wouldn't be here telling you nonsense.
All right. That's okay.
But what I'm saying is, you know, let's assume that that's true. If he's out there soliciting funds to purchase his private attorney that's already paid for him, you know, I feel like that's pretty ethically questionable. You know, what's he going to do with this extra money now? You know, all of these people gave it to him, you know, with the intent that he's hiring an attorney to find out he's already having one paid for. To me, I would feel deceived.
Now remember now, what you just said to me is that he's already got all the money he needs to pay for an attorney. Are you sure about that?
I'm 100%.
Okay, well, that's his business.
But you don't think if he's collecting money on the guise of hiring one, but already has one, that you don't see the ethics in that could be questionable?
Again, you seem to have more information than I do.
Well, I encourage education. I mean, I would love for you to fact check everything I've told you today. I mean, to me, I find it troubling. That's why I came here to speak to you about it.
And I'm, again, I have to repeat it one more time. What the community people are doing on their own, they're doing on their own. It is not anything to do with the city organization.
Okay. I also, you know, you talked to me about papers earlier. I have this printout here.
Yep.
It's the Law Enforcement Ethical Standards of Conduct. This is written by the International Association of Chiefs of
Police. Yep. IACP.
There's a
Very well known organization.
there's a subsection in here that I thought you might find interesting. I highlighted it for you.
Okay. Yeah. That's a pretty standard clause. Yeah, it's called quid pro quo.
Quid
pro quo.
Don't you think somebody reading that could possibly have some?
What that means is standard. Police departments should have something like that in their rules of conduct. What that means is, I go to the police station and I give you let's say a gift certificate, and in return I get something from you. It's called quid pro quo. That's what that standard talks about, and how that's unethical in a particular officer's duties. That's pretty standard.
Don't you feel like there could be an interpretation that that's violated? Should an issue, what I told you earlier, someone DUI, they get go from the traffic stop, something like that, that that could be brought to bear, that guy handed the chief $1,000 for his legal defense, and he ended up getting off on that DUI. That seems pretty.
Well, and that's going to have to be part of his ethical standards he's going to have to live by. That's a pretty standard policy.
And there was just one more in here I wanted to speak to you about. Now, this is actually something that happened when he was in uniform dealing with us once before. Number 82.
Yeah, this is pretty standard. Yeah.
There was a meeting. There's a coffee with the chief. Are you familiar with this?
I was at the last one.
Okay.
Coffee with the city.
Coffee with the city. Well, there was one. I wasn't personally there.
Were you there at the last one?
I was not. I haven't been to one in probably 2 months. I've done the little things with my work and whatnot.
Well, it's not coffee with the city. It's not coffee with the chief right now. It's called coffee with the city.
Well, this was probably a few months ago. This was when it was coffee with the chief.
Okay. Yeah.
Mr. Krug was there.
Yeah.
He personally. Now I watched the video. I saw it, but he was there personally. There's a man named Andrew Sheets.
Yes.
You're probably familiar with him.
He sends emails all the time.
And he asked the chief a question. It was not a disrespectful question anyway, but the chief response was, everybody have a look. This is Andrew Sheets. He makes several complaints, and public records are a request, and he's associated with Ian McGuire, who wants to see cops killed.
Ian McGuire, the guy with the sign ahead that, he just went off into where he shouldn't have gone publicly with private information. Confidential information.
Okay, well, what did he say that was confidential? When you send an email to the city,
well, he shouldn't be telling members of the public that Mr. Sheets makes complaints and things like that.
That's public information. When you send an email requesting records, that's public information.
I believe when you file complaints with the department, they're supposed to be confidential.
No, wait.
He's not supposed to.
There's a difference between asking for public records and filing a complaint.
He mentioned both. He's not supposed to go around and point out to other officers that's someone that makes complaints and tries to make our job hard and things like that.
And watch out for him specifically. And then he sends out a memo.
There was a memo sent out also about it. Okay. To me, that seems like you're trying to have this individual targeted.
Okay, what was...
It's a form of intimidation.
What was Andrew Sheets... What was he trying to do?
What was the specific question, Mr. Krug?
Dealing with FOIA requests.
It was nothing rude, nothing like that.
Nothing. It's all on video.
In fact, I was going to send you a link to the page on this email address, if that's fine.
We can.
Yeah.
Because I'm going to look up your, so they call it freedom.
Yeah, and I'm going to be putting the thing on there about the police being called and all that. And, that's something else. Now, are these meetings that are held here when they have government meetings? They're supposed to be open to the public. That's what I've come to understand.
Like the meeting they were having, and then they were talking about a contract.
That was something to do with city government, correct?
Yeah.
My understanding under sunshine laws is that that it requires all governments in the state of Florida to conduct business in the open. Yes. So if someone wants to come in there and sit on that meeting, they're welcome to. But I was basically chased out of there. She took away some documents I wanted to look at.
So you went into that meeting?
Mm-hmm.
They were talking about a contractor who's fixing up Gilchrist Park.
I mean, the content of the meeting is irrelevant under sunshine.
Yeah, as a matter of fact, they were ending the meeting at the time, so I mean, it's not like there was anything to, he was trying to find out through disclosure or anything. I mean, they were finishing up the meeting. He was just, I feel he was just exercising his rights to
see what kind of
what the heck was going on.
Yeah, see how their reaction, would they be professional? You know, that's a lot of what we do. You know, we come places and we see is this going to be held professionally today? And in that case, it was not. You know, I was basically shuffled out of the room. They called the police on me.
So that's why they called the police on you.
Yeah.
Nothing to do with waiting for me.
No, we had
a few minutes extra, and you know, and I saw the meeting, and I thought I'd step in and listen to it, see what was going on, and that's all I did, and that whole big thing happened.
So in other words,
you'll see it on my YouTube, man.
Okay.
Camera don't lie. You know, I went in there. I was gonna have a seat. They became very agitated with me. There was a lady in a white shirt. Oh, also the lady who called the police on me. I tried to ask her position and whatnot with the city. You know, like what's her name and the position with the city. She said she didn't have to speak with me and all this. And you know, is that true? Do when someone asks someone's position with the city, are they not entitled to know who they are and what they do for the city?
Well, how did you ask him?
I said, ma'am, what is your name and position here with the city?
Yeah, I mean, it's public information. I'm not saying it isn't. I'm not saying.
She told me something like, I'm not going to tell you, you're here to intimidate me or something.
Were you?
No.
Were you?
I was not. I did begin filming her when she called the police because I wanted it to be recorded as what she was saying, so that later there's no confusion as to what happened. But I was not intimidating or threatening or anything in that manner. When I believe someone that works for government engages in misconduct, I try to get their information so I can make a complaint later.
Because, you know, at times, some people can be intimidating and can be rude.
I've never been with anyone here any different than I've ever been with you.
I've filmed with him many times, and he's never come across that way.
Because if they are, I expect them to give me a call, and then I'll go out there and handle it.
Mm-hmm.
They don't have to, you know, they're not in a position where they have to deal with, especially if people use profanity at them, which some people have.
No, never, sir.
Totally uncalled for it. Totally.
The same manner I come in here and I deal with you is the same manner I dealt with them. No different.
Okay.
Let me share a little story with you as to why I filmed with him. All right.
Well, you weren't here the last time.
No, sir. I just started because he has had not a lot of good interactions with the city of Punta Gorda. And so I've tried to share with him that there are ways to find them doing the right thing. Okay. And so him and I went over to the police headquarters here, the fire department, and we talked with Kasey and told her what we were doing. We wanted to put an expose out and capture law enforcement or city employees in doing the right thing. I mean, it's their big logo on their wall. Okay. And I follow Torah. Okay, I'm not sure if you're familiar with it, but I follow the scriptures and I try to share my wisdom with those who feel troubled in life. I mean, he feels a little troubled with the way things are going on. So I volunteered to escort him and show him what's right, what's wrong, who's keeping their oath or being compliant and this and that. And that's one of the reasons I shared with him right there, because the context of what happened before Grady's. All right, it's a total ethics violation by their own codes. Okay, he's implicit of the fundraising, capital gain, financial gain. Period. Simple. Truth is simple. All right. Now, what we have done, and when you go to that site, you'll see a video within 5-10 minutes of us talking with Katie about starting the expose of capturing officers and officials doing the right thing. Within the first 5 minutes, there was already violations of the yin-yang. All right? Within an hour, we were both just disgruntled. We can't find any good thing.
In fact, there's a police officer with the department that refused to identify herself to me when I asked her name. And then she was smart to me and told me, "What's your name and badge number?"
You realize that you live in Port Charles.
Mm-hmm.
Where do you live?
Port Charles.
Okay. The people who reside in Punta Gorda give the police, as well as the rest of the employees, high marks. Maybe you don't know that. Our customers give them and give us high marks for the service we provide. Now, maybe you're not seeing it.
I can tell you from actually being someone who has used the services of the Punta Gorda Police Department by being arrested by them and driven to the jail for something I didn't do, that the state attorney sent me a letter in the mail which basically said, this was about 10 days after it happened, that there was no case. They didn't understand why I was arrested, so they're not pursuing it. And there's some serious problems with the way they interact with the public.
Okay. And that is not the way the people in Punta Gorda feel about their city government. I can tell you for a fact that is not how they feel, because I see the responses we get.
I mean,
I don't know. Maybe you've had a different experience.
I've had a pretty negative one. You can see that video on my YouTube channel as well. I promise you, it's being Punta Gorda loitering railroaded, something like that. Because I was walking around handing out flyers for Sheriff Pope, trying to promote him to be elected for sheriff. I thought he was a really good candidate, and I ended up going to jail for loitering at 2 o'clock in the afternoon. I mean, I felt like what I was doing at the time was supposed to be First Amendment protected activity, and I went to jail for it here. So, for me, I feel like my rights were violated by the Punta Gorda Police Department, and that's unacceptable, whether it be one case or 20. These people should have the best standards when they go out there, man. That's what I'm trying to stress to you. Shouldn't be out there asking for money and sticking dogs on people and all the stuff that's gone on. That's just atrocious.
Okay.
And I mean, we're gonna get going. If we didn't change anything else today, can you at least let all your staff know that when they have a meeting like that, people from the public are welcome to come in there and sit and watch it without being thrown out and having the police called on them?
Well, I'll have to check on that. This was a private meeting with a contractor, but I'll check on it.
If you read Sunshine Law, Chapter 119, Florida statutes, it says that I think I just mentioned this, all governments have to do business in the open. When they have a meeting like that, with very few exceptions, very few, which none was going on in there, and that's usually deals with contractors during the bidding phase, when they're submitting bids, because they're trying to get the best price. Don't want people to know who's bidding what. And usually that doesn't even take place during a meeting. That's done through mail or email or whatever, but they're supposed to be open to the public. You can come in, you can sit, you can watch, you can monitor, you can see what's going on, you can take pictures of people. There's no expectation of privacy. If you could at least get that across so it doesn't happen to someone else, I greatly appreciate that, sir.
Okay.
All right, Mr. Koenig, thank you for your time.
Thank you.
You have a good day, sir.
Go on this
So they call it freedom, all one word, capital letters, yes, sir.
capital.
Yeah.
Capital letters, all caps.
Thank you.
Here, I'll write it out for you, buddy.
Like I just did.
Sure? But it's all one word.
I know, one word.
And they're all caps.
I remember, all caps.
All right, man.
You told me, all caps. So they call it freedom. All caps.
All right, man. Thank you, Mr. Koenig. Are you going to run his license plate through David, ma'am? What is your name and badge number, ma'am? Excuse me, ma'am. What's your name and badge number? I'm not a public servant, ma'am. Is that not part of your policy, ma'am? Okay. Have a nice day, ma'am.
Oh, you did? Oh, okay. Yes. Yeah, no problem. All right. So, yeah. All right.
Well, Mr. Koenig, I realized you wanted to see us today.
Yeah. Grab a chair.
Oh, sure.
You don't have to stand.
Yeah, I got a bum leg. I prefer to stand.
Oh, go ahead and stand then. Oh, God. I thought maybe you didn't want to sit.
Nah, that's all right.
Well, then stand. Okay. So, yesterday we talked, and by the way, you got this running?
Mm-hmm.
Good. You don't edit this, do you?
I edit some content out, but usually the entire meeting, I will put on there. Like content as in like this has been running since I was coming up the elevator and stuff like that. I don't include that in the video.
Oh, okay. But you don't edit our conversation?
No.
All right, good. I didn't know if you do or not.
No, that would not be the right thing to do.
Well, I don't know what you guys do.
In fact, I'm kind of happy that I was not, gonna stop up recording until I came in here because I was recording and on my way up here, and we just got here and there was a woman. She slammed a door on us and told us we had no right to be here. And what did she?
She even locked the door. Said you got to use the back. We've got this lock. I don't understand why. Just
yeah. Well, I'm going to tell you why.
Oh, okay.
All right. I'm going to tell you.
Sure. Okay.
All right. Okay. So yesterday we talked.
Mm-hmm.
And what did I ask you? I said, were you rude to people? And your response was, no. You talk to them just like we're talking right now. Remember that conversation?
I do.
Yeah.
Okay. How many times have we talked now? We talked maybe 2-3 times? I can't remember.
I think this is the third or fourth.
Okay, third or fourth time. And it's been very nice.
Mm-hmm.
Very congenial, but very professional, and that's how we operate here. I have no problems with you coming in and doing that. When you asked me, we could tape this at the very beginning,
mm-hmm.
I said, sure, why not? There's nothing wrong with that. From me to you. Well, that's not what happened yesterday. Now, I'm going to do the talking. And I want you to listen. Because I'm not happy right now. Because what I learned after we talked is a totally different story. And it includes the both of you.
What was it you learned?
Well, I'm going to tell you.
Okay.
Because I am not a happy camper right now. We had a trust going here.
Mm-hmm.
That you would ask professionally when you come in here. And you were with me. I agree with that. You were. And I have no problems with that. I accommodated. Anytime you wanted to come in and see me, we set it up. But here's what happened yesterday. And I learned this after the fact. When you came up here early,
mm-hmm.
there was that meeting going on in there. You barged in there with your cameras going. You didn't ask anybody if you could tape them. You didn't ask. You just kept taping. Okay?
Okay.
When they asked you who you were,
mm-hmm.
you didn't respond. Is that professional? Yesterday you said in our interview that you were stopped by a police officer,
mm-hmm.
I assume Punta Gorda, I don't know, and you said they wouldn't give your name. Well, if you were stopped by a police officer in Punta Gorda, you know who their name is. Their name is on the car. There's no excuse for not knowing who they are. How many police departments put their name on their car? Other than Punta Gorda? None. Or if there are, I haven't seen any. That's how far we go with this. So yesterday, you go barging into the room when they're finishing up a meeting. You didn't have the professional courtesy to tell them who you were. You didn't have the courtesy to ask them if you could tape what they were doing. That's a no-no. You at least could have had the courtesy to ask them, but you didn't do that. Then, when you say you wanted to see those records, remember you said that?
Mm-hmm.
One of them, we're going to go get you a public records form so you could fill it out and see the records. What did you do? You followed right behind her, almost breathing down her neck, when all she was doing was going to get a public records to accommodate your request. Not professional. And frankly, you scared them. Not professional. That is not how we operate in City Hall. We have an open City Hall here. We accommodate our visitors. That is not how you're going to operate. You want to talk to me, you talk to me. But you're not going to deal with the rest of the staff like that. I am sorry. That is going way beyond what you're allowed to do. Am I mad? You're damn right I'm mad. Because we had a trust going. And I accommodated every time we met. And I will continue to do that as long as you are professional about this. And you weren't. Now here's what I'm going to ask you to do. I want you to go over there, I'm going to go with you, and you're going to apologize to them for that behavior. Not to me. Not to me. You're going to apologize to them. That's how I feel about it. And I learned this after the fact. And I am not happy.
You know, if I could just say something here.
Go ahead.
Now, those people in the meeting, they work for the city of Punta Gorda?
Not all of them, no. No, they don't.
Okay. This is a public place?
It's a public place.
There was a meeting going on there with things to do with government, correct?
Things to do with government.
Okay. Well, there's no expectation of privacy then.
Sorry, but you're wrong. There it is. Florida statute. You probably already know it. Chapter 934. Security of Communications and Surveillance. Criminal Procedure and Corrections. I don't know if you know it or not, but it's right here. Interception and disclosure of wire, oral, and electronic communications prohibited. Intentionally discloses or endeavors to disclose to any other person, the contents of any wire, oral, or electronic communication. Intentionally uses or endeavors to use the contents of any wire, oral, or electronic communication. You didn't ask them.
I don't think I broke that law, sir.
Well, I'm sorry.
If I may ask a question.
I'm sorry, but you can't do that.
If I may ask a question.
Sure.
On that statute you just read that said criminal offense?
Yes.
So it's a criminal offense to record?
If you come in here and you ask me, is it okay to record? And I say yes, sure, go ahead, we're doing it now. But not when you barge in there. You don't even, when they ask you who you were, you don't even say anything. What are they supposed to think? What are they supposed to think when two guys walk in there with this machine on? What are they supposed to think?
I mean, what they think is irrelevant. They don't have any expectation of privacy.
Not irrelevant. Not when we act in a professional manner in City Hall. It is not irrelevant. That is how we operate here.
They're here to do business on behalf of the public.
Yes, they are, and that's what we do.
I'm the public. I want to understand the business that they're doing.
They have their rights too.
Not when they work as government officials.
No, I'm sorry. They have their rights too. That is where we differ. That is where we're going to continue to differ. Now look let me try one more time. I accommodate you. We have an understanding.
Mm-hmm.
We have a trust. We talk civilly to one another. And I expect you to do that with the others. But you didn't. You did not. Now you can choose to accept it or not. And what I'm telling you right now is we're going to go over there and you're going to apologize to them for doing that.
Now, it's my understanding that sunshine laws require that when you guys conduct meetings, that they be open to the public. There's even a sign there on the wall that says these meetings may be recorded.
Okay.
I didn't place that sign there, sir. So if, you know...
Again, you can split all the hairs you want.
Mm-hmm.
I'm asking you to be professional with the others. What do you think they thought when you went in there like that? They don't know you guys from Adam. You were here to see me.
Mm-hmm.
You got here early.
It was a meeting. I wanted to attend it.
No. Let's be honest. That's not why you were there. You were there to see me.
I know where your office is, sir.
Yeah, I know you do.
We were here early. I saw there was a meeting taking place. I wanted to observe it.
Okay, so you feel you have done nothing wrong. You don't feel that the way you barged in there and the way you communicated to the folks there that you were like Pollyanna, perfect.
I don't believe I committed any wrong, sir. Trying to get involved in my local government.
You think you acted professionally?
I believe so.
Well,
another issue is that I was going to make a public records request.
Here's where we differ.
I did not wish to identify myself.
Well, here's where we differ. That is not how we operate in City Hall. Okay? I'm laying it on straight with you.
Mm-hmm.
That is not how we operate in City Hall. We have an open City Hall environment. We like when our customers come visit us. We're friendly to them. We try and accommodate them. That's not how you operated. I'm sorry. You can choose to accept it or not.
I don't feel what you're conveying to me suits that message of this is an open environment.
Well, I'm sorry, it is.
I'm
sorry, it is.
If it's an open environment, people should be able to tape and record here.
Not the way you handled yourself. Not the way you handled yourself. Not professional. Now, are we going to go and apologize to them or not?
I will. I wasn't even in the meeting, but I will.
Okay.
Because I did not, my intent was not to come here to intimidate, just to...
And you need to, and that's
This
fine.
is my first time here. I just
All right,
was
and that is fine.
record what was going on. And
That's what I'm asking.
yeah, I have no problem with that.
Well,
I mean, I'm not sure what I'm apologizing for, sir.
see, that's a problem. That's where we have a problem.
No one apologized to me for arresting me falsely on the streets here.
That's where we have a problem. You know, I can sit here for a while and you think about it.
Harry, do you feel I did something wrong?
It doesn't matter.
It's what you
As far as it's what you. I mean, I see his point. I don't agree with it.
Mm-hmm.
All right, but I want to maintain the man's trust because of the asset that he is for our project.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and I need to apologize. I'll be more than happy to apologize. It isn't going to bother me one way or the other.
In order to maintain your trust, I will go apologize to them.
Okay. And when we meet, you're meeting with me. We are professional manner up here.
Mm-hmm.
And I want you to continue doing that. Okay?
We're just amateurs.
Well,
We're not professionals.
I understand.
I know,
but I learned this
tough
after, and I was
semantics.
not happy.
Mm-hmm.
I was not happy. That is not how we operate. And I don't want you doing that with the other folks. I'm sorry.
Did you see the video?
No.
Okay. 'Cause the video actually portrays a little different. We got it
I
recorded.
did not see it, but
That's what I'm saying. Would you
I
take a
will,
look at the video?
I will watch the video, but that's not the point.
Would you watch it before I go over there and apologize?
No, the point is, that's what they felt. That's what they felt.
Yeah, but see, I mean, that's kind of a problem that is going on in the police department. They're doing a lot of things by feeling instead of by law.
Mm-hmm. And right now, your take on law, in my opinion, is wrong. Because they don't have an expectation of privacy. A public official, while doing their public duties...
1 second, I don't know. Yes. No, that's okay. I'm. Oh, yeah. All right. Again, people have different perceptions of how they come across.
Perception is not law.
People have different perceptions. I'm not... Stop with the law already. People have different perceptions of how they come across. Okay? I'm letting you know.
Okay.
I'm letting you know how they felt. And I don't like that.
Let me tell you how that I felt as a citizen. Okay? I know they have no expectation of privacy because they're doing work on my behalf. So I want to be educated about it, and I feel that, under the law of the state of Florida, if there's a meeting going on involving government, I have a right to attend it.
Yeah. By the way, when we go over there, you're turning this tape off. You are not taping them. They don't want to be taped, you're not taping them. They have a right not to be taped. When we go over there, you are not turning that on.
Now you're exceeding.
No, I am not.
Yes,
I just
you are.
read you the law right here.
Well,
Well, if we're violating the law, why don't you contact the authorities like you did yesterday to report us?
Is that what you want me to do? Is that what you want me to do?
I mean, if you feel we're breaking the law,
Is that what you want me
I'm
to do?
deserving of any criminal punishment, sir. Go ahead and contact them.
That's what you want me to do.
If I've broken a law, I'm willing to pay for it.
I'm trying to handle this civilly.
If you feel you need to have us arrested, if you need to report us for committing a crime, I encourage you to report all people that commit crimes.
Is that what you want me to do?
I encourage you to inform on people that commit crimes, sir. Keeps our community safer. If you feel I'm committing a criminal act, I think it's your duty as a city manager, public official, to please report me.
Okay, so we're not going to go over there and apologize then?
We said we would go apologize,
No
but
tapes.
now they don't have an expectation of
Yes,
privacy.
they do.
Okay, I don't believe
Yes,
they do, sir. I would advise you to research this, sir. I'm not sure what attorney you guys have. In my opinion, he's not very confident in these matters. If he's told you there's some expectation of privacy they have while they're doing work here on behalf of the public, there's a Supreme Court a decision for I believe it's the 3rd District. It's Smith versus Cummings.
Mm-hmm.
It says that the public has every right to gather information and contact about what public officials do on public property. So in other words, if you guys come here and do work...
I read you, they have a right for people not to be taping them and then putting that tape out for the world to see without even asking.
We don't need their permission,
Yes,
sir.
you do. Yes, you do.
I'm gonna have to respectfully disagree with you, sir.
Okay. So what are we going to do?
Well, I thought you were going to contact the authorities on us.
What are we going to do?
What are we going to do?
That's right. How are we going to go forward here?
well, my own personal opinion, what I feel. All right, let's go ahead and take the conversation that we've had so far and let the public decide.
So that's it.
I mean,
We're gonna go
I don't
on.
want to get arrested. I don't have a problem apologizing.
Okay.
All right, but I do not think that I should be commanded to turn off the recording device for the simple reason I do know the law on this.
What are you
And we are supposed to be a nation of laws.
And what are you going to do?
I'm gonna have to side with him. I'm not going to turn off my recording device. Now, is that lobby in there? I mean, is that open to the public? If I want to
It's all
come,
a public building.
so if I want to go in there and talk to her about a public records request, I mean,
You have a public records request? I can hand it in.
I'd like to speak with the lady I spoke to about the records yesterday. She knows what I want.
Did you fill out the public records request? Did you go to the city clerk's office and fill it out?
I will not make a written public records request, sir.
You have to make a written public
That
records
is
request.
a sunshine law violation.
Go ahead and submit a public records request. Go to the city clerk's office and submit one. Happy to oblige.
A written request?
Yes, fill out the form.
I will not make a written request to view public records, sir.
You will not make a written request. Everybody else does.
I will not make one, sir. That's
Well, then I can't help you.
That's a violation of my
That
rights.
is not a violation. People submit public records requests by email or they fill out a form all the time.
I would encourage you to go look on Attorney General Pam Bondi's website in regards to making a public records request in the state of Florida. It's very clearly stated in there, you cannot be required to make a written public records request.
What are you asking?
I wanted to look at the documents that they had on that table inside of the meeting. I asked her very clearly at that time, You know, you stated yourself there was nothing to hide in that meeting yesterday.
No, there is not.
Well,
however, but you fill out the form, they'll go and they'll accommodate you in a reasonable manner.
Okay. As I said, sir, I will not make a written request.
You've never made a written request?
I have not, sir.
Ever?
No. It's a violation of my rights under Chapter 119 Florida statute.
All right. So then we're at a stalemate.
If you would just give me the records to look at, and
I don't have the records.
well, if I could speak to the woman that had them yesterday.
No, you could ask for what the records request. You want me to fill out the form for you?
I guess if you want to fill the form out for me, I won't complain. You can take down the records I want to see.
You'll sign off saying...
I will not make any kind of signature or anything like that, sir.
Okay, well then I guess we're done.
Well, any records request can be done anonymously for the simple...
How do you do it anonymously? You don't know who to send it to.
Well, that's why when you come in and you ask for a request, matter of fact, can I see that document that you just quoted me?
Right there.
Okay.
I have it right there.
Now that's as simple as it is in any and all government documentation.
It's right there.
It's that simple. And it was on the table, it was right in front. All we wanted to do was look at it right then. And the same as you just handed me this, that's all they were asked to do.
How did you hand yourself? You barged in there, tape recording, blasting away. Nobody knows.
I have a right to go into that meeting under the law.
There is a way to do it, and there is a way to do it. You did not do it.
I complied with the law, sir.
Oh, stop with the law.
I do believe that, you know, it could have been done a little more tactfully on your behalf.
That's the point I'm trying to make.
Right. And one of the things I was sharing with you yesterday when we spoke is I am a follower of Torah, and that's some of the things that I'm helping him fine-tune his, what I call a ministry, what he's doing. Yeah, you're right, he doesn't see it yet, but we're working. I'm working on it.
Okay. So here's what I should do. Think about what we talked about. Just think about it, okay? Think about it.
You will not get me to agree not to record them, or to make a written request to see public records.
Okay. Right.
I'm sorry. I don't need time to think about that, sir.
Okay.
What you're asking me to do is a violation.
Copy of that for you.
Is a violation of my First Amendment rights.
Okay. Do you want me to make a copy of that for you?
It's a violation of my rights under Chapter 119 Florida statute.
Yeah, if you would, I'd like to research that a little deeper, because I'd like to see what that title says as far as what is included in the enactment.
You want a copy of this?
I'm good, sir.
Oh, you already have it?
I'll read his when he gets it. But I just want to put you on notice, sir. You say that, you know, I've broken your trust. You please back.
Oh, thank you, sir.
Okay, so there it is. We're done. You know how what my anticipation is. So, you want to come in and meet with me? That's fine. I don't want you bothering the rest of the folks. If you need something, you come to me. You got that? You come to me.
I just want to put you on notice, Mr. Koenig.
You put me on notice.
You're violating our rights, sir.
But from now on, come to me. You don't need to be messing with the staff. Not the way you did it.
We don't mess with people, sir.
Yes, you do. Yes, you do.
All we do is audit public officials.
I'm sorry, but that's not the way they feel.
To hopefully understand both sides of this, we would ask that you watch the video of the encounter.
I will.
Okay.
I will. I said I would.
And maybe we could take up the conversation again, because this is definitely a milestone of lack of understanding on both parts. Because I'm a learned man of the law. I do know the law, okay? And I don't care about the philosophy of law. That's the problem with this country today. Right? And a lot of the corruption that's going on, whether it be in-house or out-of-house, it's all based on emotions rather than following the law as it is written. Okay?
I hear you.
And that's exactly the definition of Torah.
All I'm asking from now on, you call up, you want to meet with us, fine, you meet with me. If you have any requests from any other departments or whatever, come to me, and I'll handle that. we'll deal with it.
Mr. Koenig, I know you're not happy with us right now, but believe it or not, what we do, we feel, is a public service, and it's more about education than anything else. Before we leave, I would like you to write down and research that a Supreme Court decision, Smith versus Cummings.
When was this?
When was the decision? I believe it was 2001, but I could be mistaken. The exact
versus Cummings?
Mm-hmm. The right to record and document what public officials do on public property.
Okay.
That applies to the state of Florida.
When you say Supreme Court, which Supreme Court?
I believe it was the Supreme Court for the, what is this? This is the third judicial circuit for how the circuits are broke up.
Yeah.
And I think
the Florida Supreme Court.
Yes.
Whatever circuit that Florida's in, I want to say that it's the third. There's several different circuits and they all around the country. It's broke up into sectors. And our First Amendment rights to come in here as members of the media, which we consider ourselves to be, as we run a YouTube channel, and document what public officials do on public property on behalf of the public.
Okay. You have an understanding now? You schedule meetings with me if you have any issues or any questions.
I comprehend the situation, all right, and I think between all of us we can work on it and iron it out.
Okay.
Thank you, sir, for your time.
Thank you. Coming in.
Thank
All
you,
right?
sir.
You come to me. I don't want you bothering the rest of the staff.
Now, if we have interaction with the staff,
If you want to go and ask for public records request in the city clerk's office and fill out a form, you go do that. Of course you can do
okay,
that.
so it's not going to be construed
But I don't want
as
you-
bothering your staff.
No, because you're
Okay.
filling out a public records event. I don't want you barging into other people's rooms and whatever. Come to me,
Okay.
and we'll deal with it.
All right.
That's all I'm asking.
All right.
Okay? Thank you.
Thank you. Oop, sorry. I'll walk on the backs, you walk on the bottoms.
Have a good day.
You too, sir.
Okay?
Thank you.
All right. Got lots to do.
Before I go, I got a quick question because I was looking at the website.
Yeah.
And were you aware of the fundraiser?
Ian, get over here. What?
Were you aware of the fundraiser at Beef O'Brady's
I am now.
before the fundraiser?
I
Were you aware of it before?
We are
the
not a
fact?
part of those events. I understand something was going on, but we are not a part of it.
That's not what I asked. Were you aware
Yes,
of it
I was
before
aware
the
of
fact?
something. Ian, get over here. Come on. We're going away. I told you before, you're not taking
Hey,
it
man,
here.
don't put your hands on me, sir.
Now,
Excuse
let's
me.
go.
Don't put your hands on me now. That's
Come on.
battery.
Let's go. Can we finish the conversation?
You have no right to put
He
your
asked
hands
me a
on me.
question.
Yeah, but you came and I was looking at stuff
I
on
was
the wall.
escorting you out. No, you weren't.
I was looking at the little
No, you
flyers
weren't.
I'd like to read.
What is your question again?
I-
Yes, I was aware there was an event.
Okay.
Yes.
I would like to look at some of those flyers on the wall that are there for the public.
Thank you.
Are
you for coming in.
you going to let me look at those?
Thank you for coming in.
Why are you being so hostile?
Because of you. Because of what you... We just had our conversation, didn't we? We just had our conversation.
I just want to read...
No, you're not.
I'd like to look at some of those things on the wall.
No, you don't.
Well, why do you have them there if the public can't read them?
What? You're doing that to be hostile right now.
Going to look at little
Doing
flyers
that-
for the city of Punta Gorda?
You're doing that to be hostile. Come on. Thank you for coming in.
Come on, Ian.
Come on.
You
Let's go.
You know, you're acting very unprofessional right now, sir.
No, I am not. I'm trying to be very professional with you. We've been professional, and I'm trying to tell you how you handled yourself yesterday. You don't agree with me.
Well,
I understand.
yeah, because you're violating our civil
I
rights.
understand you don't agree with me.
We'll
Thank
work
you.
it out, Ian.
We'll work it out.
Okay, you gave him the case law.
Is this a public place, sir?
This is a public place, but this is not a public place in the sense that you can do this, and I know I'm going to be on YouTube tonight, I don't care, but here's the bottom line. Turn off the camera, I'm having somebody call the police, and you will be escorted off the property. We have an ordinance to enforce that. This is a public building. This is not a place where you can go wherever you please. But the reality is, you do not have the right to take my image and my voice, it is a third-degree felony to do what you're doing right now.
You're a public official, sir.
It doesn't. No, I'm not.
You have no expectation of privacy. You're not a public official?
I'm not a public official.
You don't work on behalf of the public?
I work on behalf of the public. But
You're a public official, sir.
I'm not a public official.
You're a public official, sir.
I'm not going to argue with somebody of your intelligence. So
Well,
the reality is,
I'm trying to bring your level of intelligence up to mine. I'm trying to do you a favor, buddy.
Thank you. We'll see you later. Thank you.
I'm fine, sir. Thank you. I'm just looking at these brochures.
Certainly.
I understand they're for the public to look at?
Certainly. Information about the city, projects, facilities, landscaping requirements, and other things.
Ah, I'm just going to read them. That's fine.
Let me know if you have any questions.
Oh, I will, sir. Don't worry. But in the meantime, I'm fine. Thank you.
See if Mr. Koenig's here. Where is Mr. Koenig? See if you have him talk.
no. If you don't have an appointment, then you're not seeing Mr. Koenig, and please turn off your cameras.
Okay.
Turn off our cameras?
Yes. I have asked you politely, and now please turn them off.
Is this a public place, sir?
This is a public place, but this is not a public place in the sense that you can do this, and I know I'm going to be on YouTube tonight. I don't care, but here's the bottom line. Turn off the camera. I'm having somebody call the police, and you will be escorted off the property. We have an ordinance to enforce that.
Can I get that ordinance in writing?
You can, yes, it will take me time to find it and get it to you, but the reality is, turn it off right now.
Okay, and what's your name and
Turn it
position
off
with the city?
right now. I'm Phil Wickstrom, I'm the risk manager and human resources manager. Turn it off right now.
I'm not going to turn off my camera, sir.
Then, sir, I'm going to ask you to escort you out. You're leaving. Now,
Is this a public place?
this is a public building. This is not a place where you can go wherever you please. You are leaving.
I'm not going wherever I please. I came here to see Mr. Koenig and to read some of these brochures.
Mr. Koenig has made it abundantly clear to you that you have to have an appointment. And you did not make an appointment with Mr. Koenig. So I'm going to ask
Is this
you,
area out here public with the couches and...
please, I'm asking you to
all this
leave
stuff?
nicely.
Oh, well,
Please.
I mean, if this is a public place, I'm not going to leave it.
You are going to leave.
Okay.
Let the public decide.
Please.
I'm going to sit here, buddy.
No, you're not. You're leaving.
I'm going to have a seat.
I'm calling the police. They will trespass you. Because we have an ordinance on the books that says they will.
Okay, well, I'll wait for them.
Would you call 911, please? Ask them to send somebody down to trespass these individuals. All right. Whoever is necessary to get somebody down here now. All right, thank you. So, I'm asking you to leave nicely. Please leave.
I'm just going to have a seat till the cops come.
Sir, turn off your camera now. Now. Is there anything about now that is unintelligible to you?
About the First Amendment, you don't understand.
First Amendment. You guys think that you know the Constitution and everything that there is to know. Turn it off, please. Now.
What do you have to hide, sir?
I don't have anything to hide. I'm the ugliest thing you've ever seen. But the reality is, you do not have the right to take my image and my voice. It is a third-degree felony to do what you're doing right now. And if you don't believe me, call an attorney. But you cannot be...
Maybe the policeman can explain that to you when he arrives.
I'm asking you to leave. Turn off the camera.
Are you doing work here on behalf of the public?
I am doing work here on behalf of the city of Punta Gorda.
Are you, and you're employed by the city of Punta Gorda?
I sure am. Yes, I am.
So you're employed by the taxpayers then?
Yes, I am.
Which is
But
me and him.
But no, you're not. You don't even live in the city.
You don't know where I live.
You don't even live in the city. So the reality is, please turn off your camera.
Why are you so hostile to the public wanting to know what you guys do?
I'm not hostile to the public knowing what I do.
Hi.
All right? I am hostile to people who come in here thinking that that this is a place that they can come and go as they please. They can't.
Is it not City Hall?
It is no, this is City Hall Annex. You don't even know that.
The City Hall Annex. Okay, I'm sorry, sir.
Right. But the reality is, you have no right to take my image without my permission, and you do not have my permission.
You're a public official, sir.
It doesn't. No, I'm not.
You have no expectation of privacy. You're not a public official?
I'm not a public official.
You don't work on behalf of the public?
I work on behalf of the public. But
You're a public official, sir.
I'm not a public official.
You're a public official, sir.
Well, like I said, let's let the public decide.
Harry, I would like to see the police officer take me to jail for this third-degree felony. He claims I'm committing against him.
You are, and I will press charges.
Okay. Well, when the cop gets here, we'll see.
Okay.
I'm allowed to tape record things I can see from a public place.
No, you can't.
This is a public place. This is a waiting area. There's brochures here for the public. I'm allowed here to come and tape you.
No, you're not.
Yes, I am, sir.
No, you're not.
And you're going to learn this because I'm going to teach you it today. You
really
have no expectation of privacy, sir.
Yes, I do.
You do not. Not when you come here to do work on behalf of the public.
Yes, I do.
I'm sorry, sir. You do not.
I'm not going to argue with somebody of your intelligence. So
Well,
the reality is,
I'm trying to bring your level of intelligence up to mine. I'm trying to do you a favor, buddy.
favors of your kind I don't need. I've dealt with your type before.
And what's my type?
Anyway.
Because I want accountability and a responsibility in government, so I'm an enemy now?
You don't want any of that. What you want is a pound of flesh because you've been arrested a few times.
How do you know I've been arrested a few times?
It's all public record.
Oh, well this will be a public record too.
And that's fine. But I am going to press charges because you have no right to videotape or record my voice.
Okay. You have no expectation of privacy when you do work on behalf of the public, sir. I'm sorry to inform you. This area is open to the public. We're free to record anything that is within our view. The longer you stay here in front of us, the longer we can sit here and record you.
I'm going to be here a while, at least until the police officer gets here.
Okay. Well, I'll be waiting for him.
Okay.
I guess I'll be going to jail for that third-degree felony. What's that statute that you're saying that I'm violating? Wiretapping?
Yes.
Oh.
It is a Florida statute. It's abundantly clear. But if you can't...
You construe this to be wiretapping?
No, it's not wiretapping. It's collecting information by any electronic means.
Ah. Are you familiar with the decision Smith versus Cummings?
I am, and it's a very narrowly defined decision.
Oh, it is?
Yes.
It says the public has a right to gather information about what public officials do on public property.
Okay, I'm not a public official as defined in the Florida statutes.
But you work for the city of Punta Gorda?
I'm not a public official. None of these people are public officials.
They don't work for the public.
They work for the public, but a public official is defined as...
And you are on public property. So I have every right to gather information about you, sir.
No, you don't.
Yes, I do.
No, you don't.
I believe I do.
No, you don't. Well, again,
Oh, there's your good guys. I'm ready for jail.
Would you escort this gentleman off the property, please? And yes, I do want to press charges. He is recording me against my permission. Okay. And this gentleman as well, because they both refused to turn off the camera.
Officer, we came here...
I don't want to talk to you. I don't want to talk to you. Would you like him cussed out?
Yes, absolutely.
Okay. I want both of them?
Both of them.
Okay. I'm going to need you both downstairs now.
And if you'd like to take my statement in there, I would be happy to give it.
Okay. Get your hand out of your pocket for me, please, sir.
1043.
Do you have any identification on it? I'm going to need some ID from both of you, please, sir. Do you have any identification?
It'll be in my backpack inside of his vehicle. I'll get it for everyone when we get downstairs.
That's a criminal offense.
You don't understand that? You don't understand that? No, it's not a criminal offense. You're being trespassed. So right now we're trespassing.
Which camera?
To do that, we're going to need some identification. Thank you.
Okay, you can do that and give me a call.
Will you wait, please, sir?
Okay?
Thank you.
Alright, right here, gentlemen. You said you had identification on you? You don't have any ID on you? It's in your car. Where's your car at? You pull up his picture to confirm his identity. What's your name and date of birth, please?
Am I being charged with a crime?
You were being trespassed from this property. Okay?
Is that a crime? I mean, am I being charged with a crime?
Do you think it's a crime?
No.
Okay, then you're correct. It is not a crime. However, for us to issue a trespass warning, okay, we're going to need your identification. So he's going to need your name and date of birth.
Well, my understanding was I don't have to show an identification unless I'm being charged with a crime.
Okay, this is going to go one or two ways. All right, you're going to provide your name and date of birth, okay, or you're obstructing an investigation. If you obstruct
3365 Westland Terrace, Port Charlotte, Florida, 33952.
Okay.
The investigation is a disturbance. Okay, if you refuse, you will go to jail. Simple as that. So it's your decision. You can make the choice.
Well, I don't want to go to jail, but I don't want to.
Then we're going to need your name and date of birth.
Any of my rights either. You kind of got me in a catch-22 here.
You have yourself in a catch-22 because of disturbance.
That's why we're here. Kind of disturbance.
Okay, Mr. McGuire, this is a citation warning for trespass. Advising you are not allowed to come back to the City Hall property. If you come back, you can be subject to arrest if they want to press charges.
Now, how long is this for?
This is a trespass warning. If you come back to the property...
How long? Is it indefinite or for a year? Or?
Indefinite.
Is this a public place?
Okay.
Hey, we're not getting into discussion.
You understand that if you come back to this property, you can be arrested for trespass if they want to press charges for that. Okay.
Confirm his identity, please. Hey, you might as well let Justin do it because he's the one that's got to print out the warning.
Am I free to leave?
Justin, has he been issued his trespass warning?
Yes. Yes, he's been issued. He advises he understands that if he comes back to this property, he can be subject to arrest.
Absolutely. We're done with you.
Officer, can I get your name and badge number, sir? Officer?
And right here on the card, 486.
Thank you, sir. You have a nice day. Now, is the sidewalk of this considered part of their property?
Sidewalk is not part of the City Hall property. Public access law, okay?
Thank you, bro. Nice day. Good job, buddy.
According to trespass, that is without permission. Otherwise, against permission. So, that is your warning. Okay, now you need to leave the property.
Step off the property, dude, or he'll take you to jail. Don't play their little stupid-ass game. We're gonna be thugs today in Punta Gorda.
Be careful you don't violate any pedestrian laws either.
Yeah, I know. You'll come fuck with me. Now, what's your name, Lieutenant King?
Yeah.
Thanks for not honoring your oath today, officer. Thank you. Good job, buddy.
All right. Have a good day.
Go get those hugs and kisses from the city, boys. They love you.
City of Punta Gorda. Office of the City Attorney MEMORANDUM. 2. Mayor and City Council. From, David M. Levin, City Attorney. Date, April 4, 2017. Subject, Emergency Ordinance concerning public access to city-owned, controlled, and leased property. The First Amendment to the Constitution of the United States prohibits laws abridging the freedom of speech. The U.S. Supreme Court has nevertheless found that nothing in the U.S. Constitution requires the government to grant access to all who wish to exercise their right to free speech on every type of government property without regard to the nature of the property or the disruption that might be caused by the speakers. Activities. Point 1. The First Amendment does not guarantee access to property simply because it is owned or controlled by the government. Point 2. Additionally, citizens are not entitled to exercise their First Amendment rights whenever and wherever they wish. Point 3. The U.S. Supreme Court has adopted a forum analysis as the means of determining when the government's interest in limiting the use of its property to its intended purpose outweighs the interest of those wishing to use the property for other purposes. In other words, the extent to which the government can control access depends on the nature of the relevant forum. The U.S. Supreme Court has identified 3 categories of forums: 1. The traditional public forum, 2. The designated public forum, and 3. The non-public forum. Point 4. Traditional public forums include places which by long tradition or by government acquiescence have been devoted to assembly, communicating thoughts between citizens, and discussing public questions. The U.S. Supreme Court has recognized 1. Cornelius v. NAACP Legal Defense and Education Fund, Inc., 105 S.CT 3439. 1985. 2. United States Postal Service v. Council of Greenburgh Civic Associations, 101. S.CT 2676, 1981. 3. Adderley v. Florida, 87 S.CT 242, 1966. 4. PERRY Education Association v. Perry Local Educators Association, 103 S.CT 948, 1983. 00614585-1. Streets, sidewalks, and parks as traditional public forums. Point 5. The government may not prohibit all communicative activity in traditional public forums, but content-neutral regulation of speech in such traditional public forums is permissible, and will be upheld if such regulations are narrowly tailored to serve a compelling government interest. In addition to traditional public forums, the government may designate certain public property for use by the public as a place for expressive activity. While there is no requirement for the government to designate government property to function in the same manner as traditional public forums, if the government creates designated public forums, the government's restrictions on the use of such areas will be bound by the same standards as traditional public forums. A designated public forum may be open to the general public for the discussion of all topics, or may be created for a limited purpose, such as for the purpose of the discussion of certain subjects. When not used for the designated limited purposes, a designated public forum will revert to a non-public forum. Reasonable content neutral time, place, and manner regulations are permissible. Public property which is not by tradition or designation a forum for public communication and debate, is referred to as a non-public forum. The U.S. Supreme Court has held that no less than a private owner of property, government has the power to preserve the property under its control for the use to which it is lawfully dedicated. Point 6. Not all publicly owned property becomes a public forum simply because the public is permitted to come and go at the site. Point 7. Regulation of speech in non-public forums will be upheld if the regulation is reasonable and is not an effort to suppress expression merely because public officials oppose the speaker's view. Where the principal function of the property would be disrupted by expressive activities, the government's decision to reserve its property as a non-public forum will be upheld. The separation of designated public forums from non-public forums by physical barriers and /or signage will assist in the enforcement of the reasonable restrictions on access and speech within non-public forums. Control over access to a non-public forum may be based on the subject matter of the speech, on the identity or status of the speaker, or on the practical need to restrict access for reasons of manageability or the lack of resources to meet total demand. However, a restriction need not be the most reasonable or the only reasonable limitation. Point 8. A restriction is deemed reasonable if it reasonably fulfills a legitimate 5 U.S. v. Grace, 103 S.CT 1702, 1983. 6. Arkansas Educational Television Commission v. Forbes, 118 S.CT 1633, 1998. 7 GRACE. 8 Cornelius. 00614585-1. Governmental need. 9 In some instances, the government may ban the entry on public property that is not a traditional or designated public forum of all persons except those who have legitimate business on the premises. 10. Government offices are not the kind of public places that have by long tradition or designation by the government been devoted to assembly and debate. Accordingly, the government may restrict access to government offices to government employees and members of the public who have an appointment to conduct official business. It has been found that non-public government offices contain a government workplace that is incompatible with expressive activity, and hence, may be classified as a non-public forum. Typical reasonable procedures employed to secure such workplaces from disruption include the requirement that employees must display an identification badge. Members of the public seeking access must provide proof of identity. Members of the public seeking access must state the specific office at which they have an appointment. Visitors granted access will be provided a visitor's badge which must be displayed when on government property, and said badge identifies the office to which the visitor has been granted access for their official business. Members of the public who are found in areas to which they were not permitted access are subject to arrest for trespassing. The Florida government in the Sunshine Law, Section 286.011, 1, Florida Statutes, provides, in pertinent part, all meetings of any board or commission, or any agency or authority of any municipal corporation, at which official acts are to be taken are declared to be public meetings open to the public at all times. The board or commission must provide reasonable notice of all such meetings. While the courts and the Florida Attorney General have interpreted Section 286.011, 1, Florida Statutes to indicate what type of gathering constitutes a public meeting, the one common denominator is that all public meetings are required to provide reasonable notice of all such meetings. Therefore, by definition, if reasonable public notice of a meeting within a government building has not been given, that meeting cannot be a public meeting. The public has no right to attend such a gathering. If it was by law a public meeting, in the absence of reasonable public notice, such a meeting would be conducted in violation of Section 286.011, Florida Statutes. It should be noted that the term expressive activity as used in this memo includes the filming of public officials in public meetings. 11 When the city council chambers are used for the purposes of conducting a city council meeting, or other duly noticed public meeting, the council chambers, which may normally be considered as a non-public. 9 Sammartino v. 1st Judicial District Court, County of Carson City, 303 F.3d 959. 9th Sir 2002. 10 GRACE. 11 Blackston v. State of Alabama, 30 F.3d 117, 11th Sir 1994. 00614585-1. Forum, takes the form of a limited, or designated public forum. Accordingly, there is a recognized right of the public to film, video, or record the meeting. Such right, however, may be regulated by content-neutral conditions for the time, place, and manner of access, all of which must be narrowly tailored to serve a significant government interest. 12. The Court in Pinellas County School Board v. Suncam, Inc., 829 So. 2D 989, FLA 2nd. DCA 2002, held that while there are no specific provisions in Florida's government in the Sunshine Law, Section 286.011, Florida Statutes, authorizing the video recording of public meetings. The refusal to allow such recording violates the statute's spirit, intent, and purpose. The court also noted that its finding was consistent with the Florida legislature's view of the subject where, upon the adoption of Chapter 934, Florida statutes which regulates the interception of oral communications, the legislature's adoption of Section 934.02, 2, Florida statutes excludes from the definition of the term oral communication any public oral communication uttered at a public meeting. There is no similar exception in Chapter 934, Florida statutes for oral communications uttered by public officials and public employees outside of the context of a public meeting. Furthermore, Section 934.03, Florida statutes, with limited exceptions such as that noted above, makes it a felony of the third degree for any person to intentionally intercept, endeavor to intercept, or procure another person to intercept or endeavor to intercept any oral communication. The term oral communication is defined in Section 934.02, 2, Florida statutes to include any oral communication uttered by a person exhibiting an expectation that such communication is not subject to interception under circumstances justifying such expectation. The term intercept is defined by Section 934.02, 3, Florida statutes to include the oral or other acquisition of the contents of any oral communication through the use of any electronic, mechanical, or other device. Section 934.03, 2, d, Florida statutes provides that it is lawful for a person to intercept an oral communication when all of the parties to the communication have given prior consent to such interception. It should be noted that persons within an office engaged in the ordinary course of business have a reasonable and justifiable expectation of privacy for the purposes of Chapter 934, Florida Statutes. Point 13. Chapter 15, Section 15 to 36, Punta Gorda Code, provides. Whoever, in the city of Punta Gorda, Florida without being authorized, licensed, or invited, willfully enters or remains in any structure of conveyance, or, having been authorized, licensed, or invited, is warned by the owner or lessee of the premises, or by a person authorized by the owner of lessee of the premises, to depart and refuses to do so, commits 1-2 ROWEV City of Cocoa, 358 F.3 D 800, 11th Sir 2004. 1-3 JATARV Lamilado, 758 So.2 D 1167, FLA 3rd DCA 2000. 00614585-1. The offense of trespass in a structure or conveyance. Except as otherwise provided in this section, trespass in a structure or conveyance is a misdemeanor of the second degree, punishable as provided in Florida statutes, Section 775.082, 775.083 or 775.084. If there is a human being in the structure or conveyance at the time the offender trespassed, attempted to trespass, or was in the structure or conveyance, the trespass in a structure or conveyance is a misdemeanor of the first degree, punishable as provided in Florida statutes, sections 775.082, 775.083 or 775.084. The purpose of the proposed emergency ordinance is for the City Council to formally recognize that within all city-owned, controlled, or leased property, there are certain areas which are intended primarily for the use of city employees in the conduct of their business. There are certain areas which, while primarily intended for the use of city employees in the conduct of their business, may from time to time be utilized for the convening of public meetings. There are certain limited areas which may be open to the public while engaging in legitimate business with city officers or employees, and there may be certain areas which are primarily intended for the convening of public meetings. With such formal recognition, the City Council shall appoint the city manager to manage public access to city-owned, controlled, or leased property. In the performance of such responsibilities, the city manager shall have the authority to identify which areas are to be considered designated public forum, limited designated public forum, or non-public forum. Following the city manager's determination regarding the extent of the public's access to certain areas within city-owned, controlled, or leased property, the city manager shall be authorized to employ whatever means he deems necessary and appropriate to separate designated public forums from non-public forums, including, but not limited to, the use of physical barriers and signage. The city manager shall also have the authority to develop and implement procedures to regulate and control public access within city-owned, controlled, or leased property, to provide for the security and privacy of public visitors, to provide for the security and privacy of city employees and officers, and to minimize potential disruptions to the work of city government. The proposed ordinance shall declare it to be unlawful to record video and/or sound within city-owned, controlled, or leased property except during duly noticed public hearings, or with the consent of all persons whose voice or image is being recorded. Finally, the proposed ordinance will facilitate enforcement of the city manager's measures to regulate and control public access within city-owned, controlled, or leased property by authorizing the city manager, and his delegated surrogates, to act on behalf of the city, as the owner of the subject property, to warn persons who have entered or remain in areas where they are not authorized to be, and to request such persons to 00614585-1.
Hey Charlotte County, this is Charlotte County COPWATCH, and I wanted to explain what fair use is. You can use pieces of news articles if you're doing it for news reporting, you have commentary, and you're doing it for education purposes. So that's what fair use is, as you can see right here. Another reason why I wanted to make this video is to let you know I have just joined with Patreon. A nice thing with Patreon, I make no money on YouTube. They took the money away years ago, and so this is another way to give, and it's a nice thing too because you can give monthly. You can give $1, $5, $10, whatever. I do 4 to 5 hours a day on trying to wake the sheeple up on how corrupt it is and different ways that you can fight the corruption. So Patreon is a way that you can do it, and then of course the old way is still there. Donate to Charlotte County COPWATCH with PayPal or credit card. So keep that in mind. 4 to 5 hours a day. I make no money, but the corruption happened to me and I'm sick of it, so I'm trying to wake people up. But my wife would love it if if we could get some help out there. There's 47,000 subscribers. Just think if each one of you subscribers just gave a, let's say, actually, yes, $1 a month. 47,000 subscribers gave $1 a month. That would be awesome. That's not going to happen. But anyways, that would be great if it did happen. But, do the math in your head. Just think about it. Like I said, 4 to 5 hours a day. I get no money from YouTube. YouTube has gone nuts. You can't do anything anymore. They're taking the money away everywhere. So these are a couple different ways that you can still help out with all this time that I put in. And as you know, I'm in a special situation where, at least I can do it. 4 to 5 hours a day. We have a cleaning company during the day. That's what allows me to do this, and we're debt free. So this is my hobby. I don't go fishing and all that other crap. I try to save the world. So help me out to make the wife happy, man. In fact, if you guys did give $1 a day, and there was 47,000 of you, and you did it, and each of you gave $1, and that was every month, oh my God, yes, I could quit. I could start suing them. Another idea too that we have is, you know, if I got, you know, some funds, we could actually contact everyone that has been ticketed and or arrested and put in jail and start sending them postcards to let them know we're here, and to see if everything went all right, and if it didn't, find out their story. So we could even do more investigations and more lawsuits. Lawsuits take money. So just think about that. You know, 47,000 of you so far right now. You know, $1 a day. I mean, $1 a month on Patreon, or $5 a month Patreon, 10, 20, whatever. Just do the math in your head. Help out. This is a lot of work every single day. Thanks.